It's always a party at Patchworks. Let's get this party started. Woot, woot. Hi, everyone. This is Julie from Patchworks, and I'm so excited that you're joining us for another Must Sew TV here tonight, Thursday at Patchworks. We have a lot of really fun things planned for you today. We had missed last week, so tonight we are going to be talking about the Aurifil color builders for March. Yeah, we're sneaking it in on the last day of March here. And then we also have some really exciting things to show you, like the quilt behind me. I have a few quilts off in the front that are super springy. And so we just have so many things to talk about. So why don't we get started? Let's take a peek at our gorgeous color builders set that we have available. So what is our color builder set? Well, Aurifil has this really amazing program where they offer these capsules of thread every month, and they offer different colors every single month. This year, we are focusing on the variegated threads, and I should have opened us up before we got started here, but you can see we have one solid and two variegated spools in here, and they're just really soft and very on-trend, sagey kind of colors. In addition to these beautiful threads, Aurifil offers a education packet every month, and this year they're focusing on applique, and each of the thread colors is representative of a endangered species of plant. So we're going to learn a little bit about plants and botany and that sort of thing. And then as a Patchworks exclusive, you receive a pack of fabric that goes along so that you can make the piece that we have here. You'll just need to add background, and you also get 20% off of Aurifil thread in stock every single month. What? It's so exciting. So this month for the walking palm, the colors of thread that we have are 2908, 3320, and 4653. So as I said, every month this year, we're going to be getting two variegated threads. Aurifil currently has 36 variegated threads. So during the course of the year, you're going to be getting 24 of the 36. So that's super cool. Now, as I open this up, you're like, oh, Julie, that's super amazing. What is that? Well, this is an Aurifil thread card. And in the Aurifil thread card, that has actual samples of every single thread that Aurifil offers. And we have them available in stock here. They are $50, ready to pick up. And it is just really nice to be able to have the color reference as you are building your Aurifil collection. So let's talk about the walking palm. So the walking palm, Tammy is at the keyboard today, and she did a little reference for us, and she let us know. Okay, let me get my notes here. So the botanical name is the Socratia. This word right here, I am not a Latin scholar. The plant is native to rainforests in tropical Central and South America, and they grow up to 25 meters tall. Oh my goodness, how tall? Tammy, do you think 25 meters tall is? Is that like, is it about 3 feet to a meter-ish? It's a little bit more than that. So that's like 75 feet or more, taller. Many scientists disagree on the purpose of the stilts that are here. None of the many theories have been proven. It produces fruit, which is edible, and the trunks are used to build houses in the world that it exists in. So this one is a little bit taller of a shape. And for the background, you are going to need a 14 by 26. I didn't zoom in here because we have such a tall shape that we're working with. And this is really cool because, look at this here. I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer here. So we have all of these really cool palm fronds and 3 different colors, and then a really long trunk here. In the pack here, we also have one of these placement sheets, and let's just lay it out. I'm not going to torture you with putting it together completely. We did it in one of our previous programs. So there is a 1/4 inch overlay here, so you can either trim one to size, or you can use your light box for putting it over the top here, and then you tape it in place. Let's go through here just to see how large this shape is. And I'm just gently placing this. It may not be exact, okay? Oh my goodness, look, and this is why we didn't zoom in, because this is such a large block. Oh, I still am going off the end here. Let's see if I can push it up. Okay, so you can you get pretty good. Wow, so that is, see this immense block that we're making. So this is the layout sheet. Tammy, what questions do you have for me today?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, no questions yet. So we have that here, and then they also give us our templates. Now this particular one, I told you that in some of the months we were going to talk about some other methods of applique. Well, because these are such fine, fine, fine shapes, we are still going to be focusing on our fusible machine applique for this one, because I could not bear to work with trying to do any other hand method of applique with this particular shape. So we have the trunk and the stilts, and then you have, there's 3 different colors for the palm frond. So we have dark green. So this says 5 and 9. So this means we actually need to trace it twice. Medium green, 5 and 9, the same again. And then we have the light green. Now, immediately following that are the reverse ones. So if you are doing the fusible, you want to go ahead and use the reverse pages. And you can see right here it says reverse. Now, if you use all of the non-reverse, you will just get a shape that's flipped. And there's no words or anything, so that would be fine. It just would look opposite of the picture. When you are printing these at home, if you're printing these at home, you want to make sure that your scale comes up to match that inch. And then the other pages that are here are, as I said, the color scale, and then the basic instructions. So I went ahead and I did the hard work of tracing this before we got here today, as well as I cut them out. So let's look at these amazing shapes. Look at this. Oh my goodness. So we were talking about this earlier today. These shapes are not for the faint of heart, okay? Look at this. I think I passed my cutting skills in school. And the tool that I used for cutting these out, so I did make sure that I used a fine tip marker when I was tracing, and then I used my Karen K. Buckley scissors for cutting all of those fine points. So we have more on order here. These have been a really great addition to the store. They have these serrated edges and the points here. You also want to make sure that you have a really nice bright light. I found that I'm getting to be that age where I do need to be doing this intricate work before 8 o'clock at night in order to see. So I hate to admit it, but that is the case, and it was a lot of fun to cut these. Now, if you're cutting these and you happen to cut off one of the leaves, now on one of these shapes I did. The cool thing about this is that, oh, let me put a background on it. The cool thing about this is that you can simply reattach when you're fusing it down one of these pieces, okay? As you are positioning this, if you have a tweezers that you use in your sewing room, this would be an excellent time to be able to use it. And when you're building these, you could go ahead and build it on top of a applique pressing sheet like we have in the previous months, or you could be bold and put your background right on top of your placement guide on your light table as you're making it, so that you don't have to shift these, because these are very, very, very fragile. You also want to make sure that you do put the numbers on the back here. So I have really bad handwriting. You can see it should say 5. So as you're placing things, you want to make sure you know where they go. Okay? So let's see, because we had the materials ready for pickup last week, we have a couple of really amazing things to share for some of our students that went ahead and made some. So Jackie, she went ahead and she made 5, can you believe it? 5 of them, because she tried different techniques for making them. And I'm just clearing this off so that we can see it clearly when we look at it overhead here. And she shared with us 2 different ones. So this is all 5 of her shapes, and so she tried it on different backgrounds with some stabilizer, some without stabilizer, and I love here how that looked. This one was her favorite one that she did, and we can't see it super up close, but what she did is she decided to do straight line applique stitching here, because she wanted to make sure that this would just be way too overwhelming for her to do a satin stitch on that. Okay, so doing a straight line stitch would be great to work with that, to make sure you can tack it down. When I was tracing everything, and I believe Jackie did the same, we were using the Steam Light product, which we do have available in the sheets that can fit in your printer. Let's see, can we see it here? Okay, here. So this works really, really well. And the thing about this is that it has that light tack. So as you are placing your different shapes, it sticks down to your background fabric, which is really, really nice. Then Carol, she shared, look at this. So she made hers, and for her backgrounds, she's been using fat quarters. And so this is a longer piece than just what a fat quarter requires. So she decided to put it on the ground, like how the natural environment, how this plant might appear. So she had the forest ground of dirt in the bottom here, and I really like how she placed that. And Carol here did some satin stitching around some of these shapes here, and I just love the look of how hers went together. And you can see just how different they look with the 2 different backgrounds here. So I can't place them side by side, but you have the white here, and then we have this one here. So it's really nice. So with our different shapes that we're going to be doing, you have the different size blocks that you are going to be working with throughout the year. So it's not a traditional sampler where you just have block, 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 block. It's all going to go together, but you are going to have a few irregular shapes in there, which makes it so much more interesting. Does anyone have any questions so far as to what we are doing and what we presented?
I do have a question. Have the ones that are shipped, have they shipped yet?
Good question. So the ones that are shipping out tomorrow. And thank you so very much for asking. And they are set to go out tomorrow, as our official presentation was today. Okay. So this is pretty intense applique, even if you're working with the fusible. And so I thought what we would do is I would share with you something a little bit lighter, especially if you're really intrigued by this, but you're thinking, you know, this might be a little bit overwhelming. And so what we did is that I started working on a fun little seasonal pillow that I want to share with you. And so that's going to be the first project I share with you today that is a little bit more beginner friendly, but of course is suitable for all season or for all skill levels.
I have another question.
Oh, we have another question.
Kayla wants to know if we can hire you to cut it out for us.
So Kayla wants to know if I'm available to hire out to cut. So Kayla, I absolutely am. And my fee for cutting out is $250 an hour. So I would be more than happy to cut for you. That would be my pleasure. I do require a 50% deposit up front. Oh, Frank says that he will do it for $200. So, we have a little bit of a bidding war going on here. But, Curisecs are going to eat well next week if you take us up on that. So I have made a fun, we're coming up on spring, and springtime. We can have, we have, not today, because, the poor little bunny rabbits, they'd be cold today. And if you're in southeastern Wisconsin, you know that we've had a little bit of snow today on the 31st of March. But we associate bunnies with spring and bunnies with Easter. And so I thought it'd be fun to make a little bunny pillow. And so we did borrow from our Zootropolis quilt book, our Zootropolis book. I thought it'd be fun to make Bonnie the bunny as a pillow. So Frank, let's take a peek. And so I got started on Bonnie the bunny, but I was so busy cutting out my leaves that we just got started on my pillow here, and I'm going to share that with you. So I made my block and I turned it into a little pillow top here that has this little churn dash with the cute little carrots. Now you can see I didn't quite finish him up, so I did a nice satin stitch there, and that was done with the Eversewn, our Sparrow 25 that we do sell here at the store. Honest and for true, I didn't have any charcoal or black thread at home, which is why he didn't get finished. I know, can you believe it? So, and then what you'll want to do is that you want to make sure that you put your little mouth and little greens. You can use some Orifloss. And so we do have a nice selection of Orifloss here. And so Orifloss is the Aurifil equivalent of your embroidery, hand embroidery floss. And it comes 6 strand on these super cute wooden spools. They are $5.40 a spool. We have a limited palette available, but I think here that this one here, which is color 2888, would be perfect for the little things there. And then we could use either the black or, I might want to go charcoal for the accent here because black might be a little harsh. So the charcoal is $26.30. So those are really nice. Of course, if you have any DMC floss or something else at home, feel free to use that. But otherwise, this is what we have available in the store. I will be finishing this pillow by putting my back and my front together and binding it. That will be how I hold it together. I prepared my binding. And look at this. Isn't this super cute? I had just quilted this up with a little serpentine. I just wanted to play with doing some, it's really just textured how it comes out there. This is the serpentine stitch that's available on my machine. And then I used a super cute orange 22-inch zipper. And the way that I installed it is different from how the Zootropolis pillow instruction zipper installation is. I went ahead and used the 22 so I could just extend it beyond here. Just make sure before you tack these ends down that you move your zipper pull to the center. Ask me how I know. Ha! I had to take that out and pull my zipper back across. Good thing I hadn't snipped it off. I do like to use some fusible fleece to give some stabilization to my front and back. You have to buy a half yard if you're going to be doing a chunk anyhow. So I like to go ahead and do it on the front and back to provide that stability for my pillows as I do that. So I will just I'll finish my applique. Maybe I'll do some stitching up here. I'll bind it, and then I have my poly down pillow here. It's a 14-inch pillow, works super great. We have a bunch in stock, and it is value priced at $7.99. That is the price in store today. I do not know what the price of our next shipment is. If you prefer a prepared binding, and yes, Frank, we do have a bunch of them. I know we were a little scared because we're out of a couple of our other sizes of pillows that we do have on order. If you had wanted to use one of our bindings on a roll, either the solid green or solid orange would be spectacular. And so these are each $1.49 a yard each, and we do sell them by the yard, available in store. And if you had wanted, we do have these Bonnie the Bunny block kits available. You would just need to add in the extra fabrics to make your pillow. Any questions on that? And for those of you that are new to applique, does that seem a little bit more doable? Okay, so let's see. What else do I have to talk about? I have so much to tell you today. Let's take a walk. So we are going to go over to our beautiful quilt here. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? Heidi just finished this quilt top, and this is from the Hoffman palette of the season, and it's called Spring Sherbet. Isn't it yummy? So this is this pattern is a free and downloadable pattern available from the Hoffman Fabrics website, and Tammy's going to provide a link for you to be able to just download it yourself. We do have kits available in the shop, and we're also going to talk about how to make it. So there are 3 unique flower types. We have the beautiful heart tulip, we have the pinwheel posy, and then we were trying to think of what the name was for the one that is right here. So let's see, what should we call that one with the arms? Because he has like 2 arms. I mean, what kind of flower is that? So maybe we should have a little contest and think of what the name is. I don't know. So let's go back to our project table, and we'll talk about the kit as well as how to put it together. So now we're back here, and I wanted to share with you the Spring Sherbet quilt kit, which we have available. It is $149.99, and it contains everything that you need to make the quilt top, and with the binding, it has the pattern as well, printed out for you. It is 67 by 72 inches. It requires 4 1/4 yards of backing to make it that size. Now, I think that also could be super cute extended as if you put some printed border on it. The other thing that you could do is you could just make a couple blocks and either make a really cute wall hanging or a smaller table topper with those flowers. I think that could be super cute.
Linda says it's a windmill daisy, and then Barbara said a sunflower.
So our votes are that we have a windmill daisy and a sunflower. Oh, I think that could be interesting. I'm just looking at our pink sunflowers. Sure. Why not? Why not? So if you are going to be making this, so the ones that are in our kits will have a couple corrections. I just wanted to share with you that there are a couple typos in here. And the biggest thing is that when you are, let's look overhead, Frank. On page 3 here, in our cutting of our plumeria, which is our background here, it says that we need to be cutting a 4 1/4 inch width of fabric strip, and then some subcuts. And then down here, it says that your rectangles should be 5.5 by 4.5. They actually meant 5.5 by 4 1/4. So we'll be correcting that. The other thing is that on page 8, they have reversed the names of the fabric that are required for your different steps. And wouldn't you love it that the color in this beautiful color in this particular tulip, the pink is called Frank. How awesome is that? So the 1895s, which is a Hoffman fabric, there is a fabric color named Frank, which is actually this one right here. And then there's a color Julie, and that's purple. That one's not included in this palette. So you'll have everything that you need to make that. So let's take a little bit closer look, and Heidi's going to kill me that I opened up this kit because she just had a package. I promise I won't unfold the different things. I'm just pulling this out because we got to see these beautiful colors. Oh, so look at this palette. I mean, seriously, I saw it, and before I even saw the quilt, Hoffman's been doing this thing where they pair 12 fabrics together. It's like they were listening to us and knew that 12 was a winning combination. And so they put the 12 fabrics together, and this is just, it makes me thirsty. It's yummy and awesome and jelly beany, and it just is happy. So these are different cuts required for the kit. We do have all of these fabrics available on the Bolt, and I just wanted to extend the option to you if anyone was looking for a fat stack or half yard stack or even yard stack of this fabric selection. Let us know. We don't have them cut ahead of time, so you would want to let us know to be able to do that. But if you were interested, please let us know because we would love to do that for you. And then we have the whole kit available with the background, and they used this buttery yellow. At first, I was not convinced that the buttery yellow was the right color to be using for this particular quilt, but I love how it looks and it just warms it up, and I love it. So let's dive into how these blocks are put together. So we have 3 unique flowers that we are going to be looking at. And so the first flower, which is our tulip, let's see. The first flower that we have here is the tulip, and let's see if we can see the whole thing. Okay, so we have the stem and the flower, okay? So how we go about putting this together, we're going to be making some simple half square triangles, okay? So really nothing too difficult. We'll make our squares, pair them together, use our quick quarter ruler to draw our lines, stitch our lines, cut our units apart, trim them to size. We're going to be making connector style flying geese, where we use our quick quarter ruler to draw our line, but this time we're drawing it down the center. Stitching, flipping. You will want to make sure that you trim away the back, because with this being a light background, if you left the pink behind, it would shadow through. For our heart component, we are doing a connector on rectangles. So we'll start with itty bitty little small square on the other side, and then a big square. We're making mirror images here, so you want to make sure that you keep things one left and one right. Put them together, frame it out, and then we'll have our connectors here to make the different shapes. Oh, and I didn't follow along here, so Heidi did show us here our heart and how we top, bottom, side, side. Comes down here, put our connector on one side, put a connector on the other side, and then we want to complete it with our tulip, and so we are going to make sure that we have a left and a right. So we'll have a rectangle where we have background on the top, light on the bottom. Looks just like this. and then repeat in the opposite direction. So it goes like that. And when we put it all together, you can see up on top here, okay? And then for our stems, this unit here is really interesting. We're going to start with a half square triangle, okay? So we start with a basic half square triangle, nothing scary there. And then we're going to build on it. So we put a connector corner on the side here, okay, and then cut away this excess. So this particular pattern is a quilt shop owner's dream because we are just building and putting squares on top of squares and cutting excess away. If the waist scares you, then what you will want to do would be to maybe make a second half square triangle there that you could then use all of your cutoffs for something else. For the second shape, we are going to start with rectangles and put a square on top of here. Okay, so you can see, because we wanted that little bit of extra space because the leaf didn't go all the way to the ground. And after that one, we put another connector corner on so that we have this strip in here. So don't be afraid that this is some crazy shape. This is just connectors on top of each other. You can totally do that. Okay, and then you put a spacer in there. So the biggest thing that's important with a block like this is your seam allowance, okay? Because this is really piecey and you want to make sure that everything lines up. So what I would do if you are a more beginning piecer, you absolutely can tackle this. I would just make sure before you sit down that you do your 1/4 inch test prior to tackling a block like this to make sure that you are satisfied with your seam allowance, because once you are, then everything will line up perfectly. Our next flower that we're going to look at is the, well, what do we call it? We called it the sunflower. Look at that. So we have really simple, this is square and a square, some strip rail, and then interesting shapes here. And I love how we are looking at these different units for putting them together. Okay, so let's break it down. And for our square in the square, we're going to look at this part of the board here. We're going to take our square and put connectors on opposite ends, and then the opposite diagonal. Okay, do. We'll do the same thing, but for this shape here, okay, that goes on the stem, we are going to have it be similar but different. Do you see here? This is really, really important to note. This one, you have that 1/4 inch seam allowance. This one doesn't. So does anyone want to guess what happens when you have your points come all the way to the edge before you piece it into something? What happens? Any guesses? If you guessed that you will be creating a flat edge because the point is going to come off of it, you are absolutely correct. Okay? And so in this particular case, this is the correct piecing, and by the piecing process, we want that to go away. All right? And then for our leaf, we are going to do this on a rectangle so that we are just going to create this cute little leaf. Okay. And then when we come back together, we'll put this up here. You can go ahead and just make a strip rail. We don't need to piece that or step that out for you. You construct this as a 9 patch, and then put the edges on. And then you have all of your different units here, and you're going to put these units together first, piece these all together here, these all together here, make sure you have a mirror image, and then put your stem in, put your top to the bottom. So these are piecey little guys, but they are basic shapes, basic construction. Lastly, we have our pinwheel daisy. Pretty, pretty, pretty. So we have here pinwheel in the center that we're going to frame out with a little bit of interesting shapes here. And then on this leaf, do you see here that this is kind of like this, but we pieced that first, so we're building on our skills. Okay. How are we going to do that? To make our pinwheels, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with half square triangles. See a pattern here? Lots of half square triangles. We're going to use our quick quarter ruler, draw our lines, sew, cut apart, spin them around, sew them as a 4-patch. For our round, we're going to take a rectangle and put connector corners on, 2 sides of them. And then for our leaf here, this is really cool. We're going to strip piece the leaf unit with 2 different shades of green. And then we're going to put connector corners. We're going to start on opposite ends and then repeat on the other diagonal. And it looks like this. Let's take a peek over at the quilt again. So you can see here that on this shape here, these come in a little bit, so it's a little octagon. Isn't that cool? And don't stress out if this is a little bit different, just like a thread off from this, okay? Because when you're quilting it, you're not going to see it, and it's near impossible to have it be exact the same size, because remember, this is fabric, right? Your fabric, you're piecing it together. And then I love how the shading works really well here. And then this color here, this is the color that's Frank. Doesn't that look like Frank? I think it does. Okay, and but I just love this little heart inside the tulip. So I love this quilt. I think it could be great as the full quilt. I think it could be great if you did 3 flowers. If you did 3 flowers, I might face them all the same way, or you could stagger them where one was each way, however long as your table is. The whole kit is $149.99. It includes the pattern. You can also just download the pattern off of the web. Make sure you make those couple notes along the way to so that you don't drive yourself crazy. And let us know if you'd be interested in the palette, available as either a fat stack or as a half stack or even full yard tower of those 12 different fabrics. Any questions on this quilt?
I don't have any questions.
So now that we're talking about all of the springy things, I thought it'd be really fun to share with you some of the other fun projects that are spring inspired, because I just am thinking all about really amazing springy things because it's snowing outside and they said it's supposed to snow more this week. All right, so I'm just going to wheel in here. I just love this. I'm like wheeling things in. I'm spreading out all over the store. So I'm going to share with you here. So we did this a couple years ago. This is from Trendy Table 2. This is from Heather Mulder-Peterson of Anka's Treasures. Isn't this cool? So we have tulips here done a different way. And I love, love, love this little border fabric here, which we do have available here. We got more in. It's really super cute. We have a really nice selection of spring little fabrics that you could use. We do have some little grunge packs around if you wanted to pick some up to get started, but otherwise just go ahead and use the pattern instructions for getting the requirements for having the right amount of fabrics in there for making your beautiful tulips. So I love that one. Other fun Eastery things that we have Kim Schaefer's Happy Easter. So this originally appeared in a magazine, and it was reprinted then as a standalone pattern. And Kim loves to have so many things in her pattern. So let me see if you can see this a little bit better here. So in this pattern, you can see that she has her table runner, she has wall hanging, she has placemats, and then she also embellishes napkins and towels with her applique shapes. I just love how she can use all the different things in the different scales. So let's take a peek at these. She brought them in to share with us. So this is the super cute wall hanging. Love it. And if you notice the quilting that we did, you know, you can absolutely quilt around things, but this quilting is done just all over it, okay? So you can do edge-to-edge quilting over your applique. If you did, you might want to use a thread that you don't, that kind of blends in. We used a white thread, so you don't even have to use invisible thread, okay? Because invisible thread can be a little bit more difficult and challenging to quilt with. Look at this placemat, adorable. And this little chick here, this is the one that you can use for doing all sorts of different shapes, okay? Different finished products, like putting on napkins or different things like that. Could even put it on a little baby bib. Ooh. And then we have the big runner. So this is for a large dining room table. I love it. So cool. And you could also just make the large eggs as, you know, make it a little bit smaller, whatever size works for you. If you'd wanted to, I'm sure you could even turn it into a quilt. So we have those patterns available in store. I think they're also online. And on the front page of our website, we have added a Kim Schafer section. We have a whole bunch of Eastery fabrics here, as well as these really cool banners. We have to make up some of them. We have these Celebrate the Seasons banners that we have. They are these really amazing, upside down. You can either convert this into a quilt, or do you see here you have your traditional 24-inch panel, okay? And this is your back and or borders. So you know how sometimes when the weather's nice, we have those really cool banners hanging out in front of the store? This would be perfect for that. Or if you make those seasonal banners for your front doors or your door in an apartment or such, perfect, 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 perfect. And everything you need is right here. So these panels, they sell for $29.99. We have, so far we have 9 of them, and there are, $26.99. I can't read, $26.99. They are called Celebrate the Seasons, and this one is April. And before we go back, I just have to also still show you a couple of these really cute. Do you like seeing these different ones? They're so fun. So we have that whole section. And then these are the ones that I did. You know. It is the one. This is the one I used for the backing. And this carrot here, this is the one that I used for the front of the pillow. And then one of the Kim Schafer So Happy, I'll pull it over and put it by the Easter fabrics, is what I used for the churn dash, as well as what will be the binding in my pillow. And then I used the orange zipper for that. If we put it all together, it would be $29.99, which was the same price as what we would have done for that penguin pillow. Let us know if you'd like us to do that, with it being kind of a seasonal, close to the season. We didn't know if we were too late to put kits together, so just let us know if that would be something you wanted us to do. Okay. Whew. Showing you all the things. So, talking about Kim Schafer, did you see this quilt behind me? Isn't it amazing? So this is a sneak peek. This is the quilt that is going to appear in the American Patchwork and Quilting magazine for the June edition that should hit newsstands tomorrow. So in theory, our shipment should be arriving tomorrow, so soon. This is called Hip to Pieced Squares. Hip to piece squares. How awesome is that? Hip to piece squares. This is the original quilt, and we were selected as the shop to kit this quilt. How awesome is that? Let's take a peek at what the full quilt looks like, because I know you can't necessarily see it completely here. And let's see here if we can show it for you. So this is its pretty magazine layout here, and then this is what the quilt looks like. Beautiful, beautiful quilt. It is a 58.5 by 78.5 inch quilt, so that's a really nice lap size. It would be very easy to adapt and make larger. And I love the use of color there that just make those blocks sparkle. So it is 2.5 inch friendly, and our kits are going to be made of 2.5 inch strips of assorted black and whites, low volume white with black prints, and then the assorted blues and greens. I wanted to make sure to offer all of you an option to be able to have first dibs on these quilts that we are putting together, kits that we're making before they go live, because, well, you're our local customer and I want to make sure that you know what we're doing. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that we are preparing them. They are $139.99. The magazine would be extra if you needed one of those, and the magazine is $6.99. They are live on our website, and they'll be available for pickup early next week. So let us know if you were interested in one, because we'd want to make sure that you guessed first dibs before the rest of the world is going to be scooping them up. And I just love, love, love this quilt. Now this quilt is made with some out-of-print fabrics, so our fabric kit is inspired by and has the flavor of these fabrics, but it is not the exact fabrics as they're no longer available. However, we have a great assortment of fabrics in here, and you have ample to pick and choose. And we've done a lot of the hard work for you, that they are pre-cut into 2.5 inch strips. So you can just cut away and get sewing to make this beautiful quilt. So that quilt, Tammy asked, the quilt is 58.5 by 78.5. The kit cost is $139.99. The cost of the pattern, which is included in the magazine, is $6.99. And it does require, it says 4 7/8 yards backing. I'd go ahead and get 5 yards backing. We also have a couple cool black and white wide backs that might be appropriate. If you chose a wide back, I'd go ahead and get 2.5 yards instead of the 5 yards that you would want of your traditional yardage off the bolt. I think that you could do some really fun stuff with black and white and a splash of color for a backing. Any other questions, Tammy?
Yeah, sorry. Are the kits going to be just blue and green, or will you be doing different colors?
So we currently have planned our kits to be just like this, okay? So that we'll have the blue and green, so 20 blues strips, 20 green strips, 30 white with black, and 20 black with white strips, as well as your solid black for your binding.
But we do have other strips.
but we do have many other strip sets available that you could do different things with. You could also, this is meant to be scrappy, and so you absolutely could even use more than 20 more than 20 fabrics in here. So I had a really great discussion with a customer earlier or last weekend where we were talking about, to get this visual interest, how many fabrics do you use? And there really is no limit to the number of fabrics that you use. I'm more concerned that you use too few fabrics, okay? Because to get this type of sparkle, it takes all of those different shades. So you just play with them all together and make it happen. So, and you can see you have yellow greens and blue greens, lights, darks, just a whole friendly family playing together, all the fabrics. My favorite fabrics have 50 or more fabrics in them. Quilts. Yep. Did I say that right? Okay.
No.
I didn't say it right. So let's do one more thing before we tell you about our deal today. And that is, I wanted to share, since we're talking about all things Kim, and we redid the front of our website and are featuring all things Kim, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Kim's latest book, which is Sew Penguins, Puppies, Porcupines, Oh My, 39 Baby Animals. So it is like, but different from Zootropolis. And the thing that I really like about this particular book is the Wisconsin animals that are here, and especially the wildlife. And so, Frank, can we take a peek overhead? Seriously, I think my favorite animal is the baby eagle. I mean, seriously, isn't that adorable? Now, I don't think baby eagles actually have the white head, but it's their whole bodies are white. And we can even track that. If you've been following the news, all of the eagles that are back in Wisconsin, it's so amazing. There's even a nest in Milwaukee County. So you will want to make a quilt to celebrate that. And these are really great projects, and all of these particular, you can see here that you can either make them in a variety of animals together, or you simply can put the one animal together in a specific project. So what we're going to do is I am going to, Frank is going to be sharing with you the quilt behind me again that appears in the magazine. I am going to grab the camera and we're going to walk and take a peek at the quilts that are hanging in the store. We had them and now you can see them beautifully in our back cutting area. So look here at our little trunk show that we have for you. So the lights aren't on properly for you to see them quite in this light. But you can see the hoot hoot there. I love the little project. There's a glare off of the glass, but pieced projects don't always have to be quilts or pillows. You could have them be framed art. I love, love, love our little friends here that are the sea creatures. And she's done different things with them, so you can see that there's a diaper holder there. We were talking, when's the last time we used a diaper holder? You can use them for onesies or bibs or make pillows. Also, you can put them on cuddle quilts, so we have them on the back of Minky there. And then you could make the squares. We're going to take a good peek here at, sorry, I'm kind of shaking here as I'm showing you this, but this here, this is such a Wisconsin quilt. It is the black and gray and red with our wildlife animals. I love, love, love it. And look at our little baby eagle. It's so cute. So this is the great trunk show that we have here in the store. Check it out. We have the book here. Tammy, how much is the book? Do you know off the top of your head? Let her grab it.
It is $27.95.
It is $27.95. All right, so Frank, why don't you show the magazine quilt again? And while I walk back here. So lots and lots and lots of inspiration here. Lots of fun things, talking about applique. These are great applique projects. The Kim applique as well is much less intricate than the walking palm that you have. So great place to get started or a great place to take a break if you'd like. We have a deal today for you, limited deal. Since we've been talking all about Kim Schafer, we have some Patchworks exclusive Hoot Hoot 20-piece strip sets that have this really fun Kim fabric in here. And it is regularly $19.99. We have 6 left. So 6 lucky people can scoop them up and grab one for $14.99 while supplies last. How exciting! How exciting! So we'll have different little deal every now and again on our show for you as a thank you for watching, and hopefully you can take advantage of a great little deal. This would be great for making a small project. We just got our Venice table runners back in store, those quilt as you go pre-printed battings, which work really, really well with the 2.5-inch strip sets. So this could be a great use of that to have a really super quick, springy table runner. So let us know if you need one of those and we can make sure that happens. And it will be first come, first serve on those strip sets. Does anyone have any questions tonight before we go?
I don't have any questions.
No questions. Well, I thank you so very much for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed our program. We go live every Thursday night and have different content to share with you. We have so much great things planned for April. So until then, happy quilting, and we'll see you soon.